Hello there, Brick Fanatics. Happy May. We did it. We've made it to the 5th month of the year, and with it come a bunch of new LEGO sets that will be releasing on the 1st of May. If you've been around the block a few times, you will not be surprised that the majority of the sets releasing on the 1st of May will be Star Wars themed, because May is just the month of Star Wars. Of course, we celebrate May the 4th because May the 4th be with you, and then some people like Revenge of the 5th as well. But really, May is a brilliant month for Star Wars because there are so many anniversaries there of premieres of new films, because during the George Lucas era, most of these films released during May in order to be summer blockbusters. May is also the month for George Lucas's birthday, so it's very fitting. Happy birthday, George Lucas. We bought a bunch of Star Wars Lego. Star Wars is not the only thing to release this month though. We'll also be getting, for example, some Formula 1 collectible minifigures minus the minifigures, which are an interesting choice. And there are a couple of LEGO sets releasing not on the 1st of May, but on the 15th of May, halfway through the month. Now, as a reminder, while we have a list of everything that has been officially announced by the LEGO group, they do tend to throw curveballs at us every now and then. A LEGO set that releases with very little build-up or momentum, just, hey, guess what, this is coming out in a week or two. To that end, don't be surprised if, as we go through May, there are surprises every now and then. But for the purposes of this video, this is every LEGO set that has currently been announced and is definitely coming on the 1st and or the 15th of May, 2025. First up, Botanicals. The following Botanical LEGO set will release on the 1st of May. 10347 Petite Sunny Bouquet. This thing contains 373 pieces, costs £25 or $30 or euros, or an approximate various price depending on what country you happen to be living in and what currency you use. This is a cute one. It does a very important job, I think, within the botanical theme, in that it is the kind of present that you can give to your mum, but it's slightly cheaper than a lot of the other bouquets that are on the market. I had this issue with British Mother's Day recently, looking at all the flowers and realising that I was going to be spending £50 in order to get my mother a bouquet of flowers, having just bought her a bouquet of flowers for Christmas or her birthday or something else recently before that, and suddenly thinking to myself, I wish there were a bouquet of flowers that were a little bit smaller than the ones that were currently on the market, and here we go. Here's one that's going to fill that niche very nicely. Not least, I think that's probably going to be a bit of a relief for my mother, who will not have to build quite such large bouquets of flowers. Not saying that she doesn't enjoy them, but just saying there's probably a limit to how many times I can recycle the same gift idea. Next up, BrickHeadz, but in fairness, these are also LEGO Star Wars sets. The following two BrickHeadz sets will release on the 1st of May 2025. 40795 Luke Skywalker Rebel Pilot, and 40796 Revenge of the Sith Heroes and Villains. Now, just to bear in mind, if you're after that Camino training facility gift with purchase, which looks wonderful, you have to spend a certain amount on LEGO Star Wars. For the purposes of getting that gift with purchase, these BrickHeadz do count towards that amount, so you can buy these and they get you on your way to the Camino training facility. I've made my opinion on these fairly clear already in a video, but just to recap, I feel like the Rebel Pilot Luke is absolutely fine. I quite like the Revenge of the Sith collection, and I think it's going to pair very well with the Phantom Menace collection, but that does just mean that we are left without an Attack of the Clones BrickHeadz collection, which feels a little bit sad. Look, the LEGO group, some of us just want a Dexter Jetster BrickHeadz. Is that too much to ask? Moving swiftly along, Marvel. The following Marvel set will release on the 1st of May 2025. 76323 Avengers Endgame Final Battle. I've talked about this one quite extensively. It's got an all-right-ish collection of minifigures. They're not the best versions of some of these characters that we've had, but they're fine. There's not an awful lot of bricks in the box. It's mostly a collection of minifigures and those sling rings from the Doctor Strange polybag that we had a while ago, which I guess it's nice that this £90 set will tie in very well with that polybag that you already own. Beyond that, though, there's not a lot to this, and some people are going to find it easier than others to justify that price tag, given how much is actually of value here. If you are planning on visiting a LEGO store on the 1st of May and you're worried about them running out of stock, I feel like they're going to be running out of the Star Wars stuff a long time before they run out of this one. Next up, collectible minifigures, and I do use the term minifigures very loosely. The following collectible minifigures series will release on the 1st of May 2025. 71049 Formula 1 collectible race cars. Well, here we are. They're collectible race cars. They're not collectible minifigures. They've got minifigure heads, they've got helmets, but they have more car to them than actual, minifigure parts. If you've not already seen our review of the collectible race cars, do make sure that you check that out, and do make sure that you hit subscribe so that you are the first to know when we release the video of us hunting in the LEGO store for these on the 1st of May using the Brick Search app. Good luck to us. Something tells me it's going to go a little bit easier than trying to find that one Wolfpack Beastmaster from the last series where we looked everywhere, and because we were a day late, they'd already entirely gone except for one which we found, and we were very happy to have it. The rest of the LEGO sets releasing on the 1st of May are all Star Wars themed. That's not including the ones releasing on the 15th of May, which we'll talk about afterwards. We already know that the LEGO Group is planning to make this a big spending day for LEGO Star Wars and encourage you to spend as much as possible on this particular theme. And they are doing that in part with an absolutely brilliant looking gift with purchase. 40765 Camino Training Facility contains 190 pieces and will be made available from the 1st to the 4th of May, not for purchase, but as a gift with purchase for anybody who spends over £145 or $160 or euros on LEGO in the LEGO store or online. That will be the only legitimate way to get hold of this LEGO set. It won't be the only way to get hold of it. There will be plenty of people on eBay willing to sell it to you for an exceptional markup. Well, any markup on free is an exceptional markup, but don't expect this one to come cheap because I feel like a lot of these sets are going to fall into the hands of army builders in particular who need as many clones as they can get their hands on. So if this is something that appeals to you, it is worth considering before the 1st of May which LEGO Star Wars sets you might like to purchase in order to get to the gift with purchase set. If the LEGO Group follows precedent from previous years, there may well be some discounts on some LEGO Star Wars sets. You might be able to get additional insider points for buying certain sets. We don't know all of the specifics about that at the moment. We just know that in previous years these are things that the LEGO Group have done. That does mean that there's going to be a little bit of a wild card thrown at you on the 1st of May as you see some of these potential deals and you think, oh, actually that set's a bit cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I hadn't considered it, but now I kind of want it. Any kind of discount is unlikely on the brand new LEGO Star Wars sets that will be releasing for purchase on the 1st of May 2025. Let's run through those quickly. 76399 Rebel U-Wing Starfighter, 75406 Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle, 75407 Brick-Built Star Wars logo, 75408 Jango Fett Helmet, 76409 Jango Fett's Fire Spray Class Starship, 75415 Kylo Ren Helmet, 75416 Chopper C110P Astromech Droid. The Ultimate Collector Series Jango Fett Fire Spray Class Starship, previously known as the Slave One, will also come with its own additional gift with purchase, so if that is something that you want, you can get a nice little extra keyring for your troubles. Of all of these, my top personal pick is probably going to be that Ultimate Collector Series Slave One. That's not a huge surprise. I'm a big fan of Mandalorians, I'm a big fan of Jango and Boba Fett, and I have a lot of nostalgic fondness for the original Jango Fett Slave One LEGO set that released all the way back in 2002. Otherwise, that U-Wing is quite tempting. Andor, I tell you what, that's a show and a half, isn't it? I'll say no more at the moment, but yeah. Interesting. That then wraps it up for LEGO sets that will be releasing on the 1st of May. Now, as said, there are 2 LEGO sets that are currently confirmed to release on the 15th of May as well. And one of them we haven't had the opportunity to talk about an awful lot, so I'm very excited to do a little mini history lesson on it. Before that, though, the following Super Mario LEGO set will release on the 15th of May 2025. 72037 Mario and Standard Kart. This is, as I have already said in a video, the best version of Mario that we've had in LEGO form. He is very detailed. Yes, by the way, that is the way that British people pronounce the name Mario. You're not hearing me wrong. I'm not saying it wrong. I'm just saying it the British way. Deal with it. I mean, you're saying it the American way rather than the Italian way, so it's not like you can give me that much grief.
Mario.
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 Just preempting a discussion that's going to go off in the comments there. But mamma mia, let's go, etc, etc. Let's move on to one of the more interesting from a cultural perspective LEGO sets that are releasing in May of 2025. The following LEGO art set will release on the 15th of May. 31216 Keith Haring Dancing Figures. I've long said that the LEGO art theme is one of, if not my absolute favourite theme at the moment, and I particularly enjoy when iconic works of art are adapted into LEGO form. I love the way that these dancing figures have been approached. I love the use of transparent elements in order to make some of the additional motion lines around them just stand out a little bit so that they can be little sculptures and not need to have any kind of backing or frame or what have you, but still have that kind of energy on display. It's absolutely brilliant. What I also think is great is how well this is going to pair with the Love set that we had a little while ago. Both of these LEGO sets are based on works of art from the late 20th century, you know, the second half of the 20th century, from artists that were very much inspired by graphic design and pop art and commercial art and advertising, and both of them were significant artists within the LGBT community. Just before I discuss this though, content warning, this part of the video will discuss the AIDS epidemic. I'm going to put a nice little border all around here so that if you're skipping through manually, you'll be able to see exactly when that ends if you want to skip that part of the video. Otherwise, you can jump to the time code that is below. Now, when I look at Keith Haring's art, I cannot help but be reminded of all things of Sesame Street. And maybe you think that's a little bit odd, but bear in mind, during the period when I was a child watching Sesame Street, it was common for Sesame Street episodes to feature animations that were based on the work of Keith Haring. He had worked on them himself towards the end of his life, and then they were finished posthumously after he died as a tribute to him, because unfortunately Haring passed away at a very young age from complications surrounding AIDS. Haring was an artist who was very much inspired by advertising and knew the benefits of condensing a message down to the quickest, simplest, easiest form to understand. His dancing figures were inspired by the nightlife of New York City, and in particular gay nightclub culture, and he was an artist that would regularly appear in galleries, but would also take to the New York subway and just draw things on the wall, on blanked out adverts that had been removed otherwise. He would just get in there with a piece of chalk and very quickly draw something. He got arrested a few times for doing this because, yes, it's graffiti, but also it just made people smile. He very much believed that, yeah, sure, his artwork was in galleries, but what was more important was that he wanted his art to be immediate and available to everybody, and that was very much a part of the design of all of his work. You can see that in this Lego set. You can see how everybody can understand and interpret what is going on with these dancing figures. I love the way that a lot of Haring's big, bold lines have been interpreted here. It's fabulous Lego, and it really conveys the same feeling of energy and excitement and colour and vibrancy and life that you get from Haring's work. What's particularly impressive about a lot of Keith Haring's work is that some of his most iconic and some of his most memorable pieces were created while he was very sick, suffering from the late stage effects of AIDS. He was unusually public in discussing the fact that he had AIDS at a time when there was massive stigma attached to the disease, and he was very vocal in trying to advocate for people who, like him, had contracted the disease and the wider gay community as well. To that end, he's often seen as a tragic figure within the art world, someone who was cut down at his prime, just as he was becoming increasingly well-known and recognized. As said, he was working with Sesame Street. Disney contacted him right at the end of his life to ask if he wanted to work with them as well, but by the time he actually got the message, he was far too sick to be able to do so. At the same time, if you look at those dancing figures and you recognize what they mean and how they are connected to the tribe that Haring found in his life in New York at a time when it was very socially unacceptable to be part of this particular crowd and this particular movement, and the way that he brought this vibrancy and this colour and this life and this simple sheer joy to his artwork, I definitely feel like what we have of his, even if it maybe could have been superseded by other things that would have come later, what we have of his is absolutely brilliant in and of itself, and I think it is wonderful to see that in Lego form. This is a Lego set which is going to continue very much the tradition that we have seen with Love, yes, and also with things like the Everyone is Awesome Lego set. A wonderful Lego set for the kinds of people who need wonderful Lego sets, and to let them know that they are accepted and that they are loved and that they are part of a community that really values and appreciates them. That is the end of the content warning segment of this video. Thank you very much if you went to the trouble of skipping all the way here just to hear me wrap things up. Do let us know your thoughts on all of these Lego sets in the comments and which ones you'll be picking up. Do bear in mind, of course, that we have been discussing some sensitive subjects, and please be respectful and appropriate in the comments. Let us know, as said, which ones you're going to be picking up on the 1st of May or indeed the 15th of May. Also, do all of the rest of the YouTube things. Give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you're going to be purchasing these from the Lego website, you can use the affiliate link which is in the description or the QR code that is on screen. They take you straight to the Lego website. We get a percentage of the sale. Doesn't cost you a penny extra, but it helps to keep the lights on at Brick Fanatics. Also, do make sure that you go to brickfanatics.com for coverage of all things Lego, especially Lego Star Wars and everything that's coming out on the 1st of May, and make sure that you sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything Lego related ever again. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.